Aita for saying that if my parents have another baby, I want nothing to do with it. I know the title sounds bad, but hear me out. I, 17, female, have had a rocky relationship with my parents since my siblings male, 10, male, 7, female, 3, male, 1, were born. I was an accident baby when my parents were teenagers and they have told me in arguments that I ruined their lives. However, this is not what this post is about. My parents are notorious workaholics and constantly accuse one another of cheating. It's stressful for everyone in the house, young ones included. All of my siblings have had paternity tests. Because they work so often, though, it means I am often left, for sometimes 48 hours, to care for my siblings alone. This has gotten so bad that the 9-month-old and 3-year-old sometimes cries for me instead of our actual mother. I cook for them, make sure they get to school on time and do their homework, I clean and play with them. The 10-year-old invites me to his football games. I don't get time to do anything for myself. Well, last week, me and my parents were arguing again. They want another baby to bring them closer together. I was furious and straight up told them that they didn't look after the kids they already had and I'd just end up having to look after another one. I told them that if they have another baby, I want nothing to do with it and they will be all on their own. They called me an awe and said I was trying to ruin their marriage and their careers. I spoke to my grandma about it and, while she sympathizes with my situation, she says I should be supportive of my parents trying to fix their marriage. She told me it was my duty as the oldest sibling to care for my younger ones and I was being kind of an awe and should apologize to my parents, but I still don't think I am. So here I ask, Reddit, am I the idiot? Edit. We do have a nanny come in 9-4 for the 9-month-old while I'm in college, but that'll probably stop when he starts school. Edit 2. After all your comments, I have spoken to my aunt in detail about the whole situation and she is horrified. She's my dad's older sister and has unfortunately never been able to have kids. She's the closest thing I've ever had to an actual parent, though. She told me that I need to talk to my parents about this and she'll stay with me while I do it. I messaged them that we need to have this talk tomorrow and it's non-negotiable. If they don't turn up, I'm calling CPS next time they leave me alone with my siblings. Simple as that. They're annoyed but have agreed to come. I'll keep everyone updated. Edit 3. So, we have spoken. My aunt was with me the entire time and I couldn't be more grateful for her support. I told my parents that they needed to grow up, basically. I told them pretty much what you had all been saying and said they had until I was 18 to build a proper relationship with my younger siblings, a good 10 months, and find a more suitable situation for while they're at work, otherwise I'm calling CPS. My aunt even offered to have them live with her. She's a freaking saint. I told them that I no longer wanted a relationship with them, however, and I would be moving in with my aunt within the next month, but I will be coming over all the time and my younger brother, Tenyo, will receive my old phone to keep in contact with me while I am not there. My aunt only lives a 45 minutes walk away, so it won't be too bad and she will drive me there in a rush if needed. My parents were furious with me, said I was ungrateful and that I don't love my siblings. I told them that I was doing this because I loved my siblings and I wanted them to be better parents for them and I had to leave for that to happen. I've also spoken to my siblings who are also upset with me, but the 10-year-old understands and the younger ones know they'll see me pretty much every day. My parents have threatened to have my aunt arrested as I'd be moving in with her underage and without their consent, but I told them I'd show the police every single piece of evidence I've collected over the years and then they'd lose all their kids. Overall, it didn't end well, but it needed to happen. Maybe I'll update again in a month or so, but for now, this is goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for all the responses and advice. Well, here's the update. So, since my first post, things have been chaotic. I moved in with my aunt and have had the opportunity to be an actual teenager for once in my life. She's been letting me go out with friends, cooks the majority of the home meals, is my shoulder to cry on. But unfortunately, things haven't been all good. About 2 weeks or so after I moved in with my aunt, my mum showed up at the door with all 4 siblings in tow. She looked a mess, if I'm going to be honest, and my mother has always been a very put-together woman, so I was kind of worried. She said she'd tried but she couldn't do it. She wasn't cut out to be a mother, she begged for me to come back. The kids also looked miserable. The male 7 and female 3 were clinging to me. The baby was crying and male 10 was just silent. He's usually a huge chatterbox. I told her I was not coming back, but my aunt repeated her offer to take in all of us on the condition that they had no more children. My aunt is a well-paid woman who's always wanted children but wasn't able to have them biologically and felt like we were close enough to hers anyways. She has a fairly large house already but has said she'd move if need be. My mum just broke down. She said she didn't want to give any of us up, but she just couldn't be who we needed her to be. She admitted that her and my dad were considering a divorce and I encouraged her to seek some professional help. In the meantime, my siblings are staying with us. We collected the majority of their belongings and my aunt has hired a nanny to be with us when she can't be. My father has gone no contact and the last we heard my mum was seeking therapy and having supervised visits with my younger siblings. Despite her trying now, I just cannot forget all those years I lost because she wasn't cut out to be a mum. I can't get over how many times I broke down over how stressed I was. I still love her, but I can't let her be my mum now when she wasn't when I needed her most. So, not all sunshine and rainbows, but some progress was made. Thank you everyone for all the advice and support. I am also in therapy thanks to my aunt and beginning my own healing process. I hope you all had a great Christmas and a wonderful new year. Update. My aunt has decided to take them to court for custody and I don't think they'll put up much of a fight for it. She's hired an amazing nanny that all the kids love and, while it's really hard, I'm trying to stop parenting my siblings and be their sister instead. There's still a long road ahead, but thank you all for the helpful advice. My siblings are thriving here and so am I. We still have not heard from my father at all and my mum drops in and out as she pleases. That's the update. Thank you again. Not the idiot. I'm so glad your aunt is a wonderful woman with the resources to help, and I'm so sorry your mom is suffering. You have nothing to be sorry about. She's the mom, you're the kid, and she failed you. I hope she can get some help so that your younger siblings can maybe be raised by a capable mom. Not the idiot. I remember feeling so awful for you. I still do, because you were robbed of your childhood. I am, however, really happy for you now. You stood your ground, made positive changes to your life and for sure completely changed the trajectory of your siblings' lives in ways you probably can't imagine. Therapy is also huge, so congrats on that step. If you continue to put in the effort, you will have a bright future. Did she do the right thing by going to her aunt? Let me know in the comments. Now, Aita for not allowing my family to see my daughter until after they explain why she wet herself. My daughter is 7 and autistic, partially verbal. During high-stress situations she goes mute. Anyway, she went to my sister's house all happy on Friday. It was a whole family get-together. I had to run and deliver some packages. I was gone for like half an hour. Anyway, when I got back she was in different clothes and very clearly upset. I asked what happened and my sister told me she wet herself after she couldn't have a chocolate pop. Now, here's the thing with my girl, she would never wet herself purposefully. She has extreme anxiety surrounding her toileting, to the point of therapy. I don't know what this anxiety is caused by, but it's pretty severe. She was clearly very distressed, so I just took her home. In the car she broke down sobbing, but was unable to tell me what happened. As soon as we got home she took herself upstairs and put a pull-up on. Pull-ups being accessible for her is a recommendation, so she has more control over herself, and has been super cuddly since. She hasn't been using her devices or signing at all. She has 2 therapists and she's due to see them both in the next week to see if they'll be able to help me understand what happened. Family has been awful. My sister, mainly, who is still claiming that she was being a brat and is doing this all for attention. I've since told every family member they will not be seeing her or me until the truth has been told. Which may be overkill, but I don't think my daughter would want to see anyone anyway. Obviously this has upset a lot of people, especially those who don't know what happened. I'm standing by my statement. If my sister won't tell me off her own back, pressure from other family members may help her along. I'm slightly concerned I'm being a major ass, though, to those who want to see her and now can't. I'm starting to feel quite bad, despite having explained my situation in full. Am I the ass here? Update. First things first, my daughter is okay now. She's talking some, although not much. She's back to using her communication device, though. She had play therapy on Monday in which some things she acted out were minorly concerning. I apologize for not going into detail. Family have found my act and I'm trying to protect her privacy. She started talking again that day, too. There was immediate concern between myself and her therapist, which was then conveyed to her second therapist, who she sees on Thursdays. I am happy to say we have answers, however. On Wednesday my dad called me. He's been feeling guilty and was desperately trying to figure out what happened. He eventually convinced my mom to get it out of my sister, at which point my sister confirmed what most of you guessed. My girl asked for a Choco Pop. Got told no in a yell. BC. My sister was frustrated with food. Kiddo got scared and then realized she had to go to the toilet, but at this point was non-verbal. She tried to get my sister's attention, who assumed she was after the cake pop, and was yelled at again. The last part is a little messy, but one of the men then yelled at her again, effectively scaring her into wetting herself, at which point she started crying and her cousin went and found my dad for her. Everyone who was present basically agreed to not tell me the full truth, so I didn't go mad on them. I was upset, and still haven't opened contact with everyone. Although my dad did come see her yesterday and came to therapy with us, which I think helped. The therapy session essentially confirmed what had been said, and we're upping her to 2 therapy sessions with that therapist a week. We are still trying to gauge if 2 play therapy sessions are needed too, or maybe just lengthening the existing one. I still have not spoken to my sister because I do not believe I would be able to be civil. My dad and I are working to rule out family members that were definitely not involved to hopefully have her see them more, as that's something her therapist recommended. I hope this update is satisfactory. I was going to wait until we had it completely figured out, but that could take months depending on how my daughter deals with things. Again, thank you all for your comments, advice and suggestions. Aita, for those who asked, I worked out how many people were there. My dad, our mom, my sister's dad and his wife, and then her dad's mom. Our mom has 6 kids, me and her included. My 5 siblings were there, but one is a kid himself. Then my sister has 2 half-sisters, a stepsister and 2 step-brothers. All of the siblings rounded up have partners who were present bar 2, which is 21 adults. Then amongst everyone, my daughter and kid brother included, there were 29 kids, which then rounds the total count of people to 50, 51 if you count me, which is a lot of people. I think I got all the math right. Anywho, it's taking a while. Some of the kids are teens and we're trying to figure out if it was maybe one of the older boys that yelled at her, which is why they're still keeping that secret. Not the idiot. Thank you for this update. I'm sure many others like me really wanted to know how your daughter was doing. Glad to hear she's at least doing a little better. I can't believe your sister and other family members involved put the blame on your daughter instead of just owing up and apologizing. You keep being a brilliant parent and do what you feel is right. Not the idiot. The biggest problem for me here is that an entire house of adults agreed it was acceptable to lie to you about something that happened to your child in their care. The yelling was also unacceptable, but the lying is so much bigger than the incident itself. It's so incredibly wrong, and it really makes you wonder what else they'd be willing to lie about regarding your sometimes non-verbal child. You're well within your rights to never talk to them again. And I might not if I were in your shoes either. What would you have done if this was your daughter? Let me know in the comments. Now, Aita for getting angry at being told I'm not a parent. The background: 12 years ago, my best friend passed away during our last year of university. The accident shook us all, and no one more than his wife, who was at that point 4 months pregnant. All three of us had been incredibly close friends. She couldn't do it alone, and her family lived 2,000 miles away. After speaking to her about it, I made a decision. I was the more financially stable of the two of us. I'd secured a position at a law firm. This is in the UK and had some inheritance from my grandparents. So, I became that base of support. I took her to the doctors, helped her with rent, got her groceries, etc. When the twins were born. I moved onto her couch for 3 months, helping in any way I could. For the next 4 years, it worked like this. We lived separately, but I'd spend half the week at hers, helping with the kids. From diapers to preschool, I was there. I was never officially their parent. No papers were signed, but I gave emotional, practical, and financial support. When they began schooling, I was listed as a non-parental guardian. I was then offered a promotion, which included a lot of travel. Again, when I spoke, and I decided to take it. I spent the next 2 years making it back once a month. I'd spend 3 minutes 5 days with them, then leave again. For 2 years after that, the balance became half and half travel, home. For the past 4 years, I've used the UK as a hub, doing business trips, and have gone back to spending 3/4 days a week with them. To be clear, this whole thing has never been romantic. Both she and I have seen other people, and in the past year she's found a very nice guy who both the kids like, which is great. The issue at hand: I've always tried to be there for the kids' big events, school plays, birthdays, tournaments, etc. I've been to parent-teacher meetings, taken them to the doctor. Recently, their school had set up a show, fundraising thing, where the parents are invited to come and donate generously. I assumed I was going, and set aside time. But when I broached the subject with she said she wanted her partner to come. I said that we could all go. She said it was parents only. I said, jokingly, that he wasn't really the kid's parent, to which she said, well, technically neither are you. At that point, I got angry, feeling that it was deeply unfair. We got into a fight, and it ended with me being told I wouldn't be welcome at the event. I left, and we haven't spoken since. I get that she's their mother. She has a genetic and legal position that I don't, and I'm not angry about her wanting her partner to come to the event. Being told that I wasn't a parent though, that hurts a lot. I think it's mostly the fact that for me, the way she said it really seemed to imply that I wasn't important in their lives, and I think I was justified in reacting. But that's why I'm here. So, Reddit, am I the idiot? Update. Well, it's been a long several months, and a lot has happened, so I thought I'd give Reddit an update. There were a lot of not the idiots and no idiots here in the last post. But a lot of you're not their parents as well. A mixed field, but a fair assessment. For the record, I did not attend the show, but was delighted by the pictures. After, as many of you lovely Redditors pointed out, the best thing to do was to talk to we'd been best friends for over a decade. I'm happy to report, we continue to be. I'll give you the short end of the situation. And I spoke a lot. It started with little steps, but we got to the big issues. Our link, my link with the kids, her new partner, the whole deal. Little by little, we got things set straight, and where we both sat on them. As some of you rightly guessed, there was a lot to untangle, but 15 years of friendship saw us through. The next phase was talking to the kids. First then us together. I'd already gone back to seeing them, and as I mentioned before, their welfare has always been the priority. Surprisingly, the conversation was more straightforward than it had been with Somewhere in the middle, we also spoke. There was a lot of speaking, with A's partner, who I will be calling B. The beginning wasn't the smoothest, but we got there. Here's what came out of it. The truth of the matter is, I'm not the twins' biological father, but what we realized was that somewhere in the past 12 years of sharing our lives, and despite trying so hard not to overstep boundaries, I fell into the role. I can't separate myself, and they don't want me to. So slowly, we've been working on what this new, unconventional normality looks like. B has been a surprising godsend in all of this. I really think A's found a good guy. I'm still mostly called by my nickname, but the slips have gone uncorrected. In the meantime, B's gotten his own moniker. A little way down the line in all of this, COVID-19 became a thing, so we decided to take a big jump. I moved in. For the duration of quarantine, it was easier than moving their whole household into my flat. No better way to put an arrangement to the test. I'm back to my university days of sleeping on the couch, working at the kitchen table, and cooking every dinner. I've stopped not one, but two doomed attempts at self-dyeing hair, and had a conversation with one twin about taking my surname when he's older. He thinks it makes his name sound cooler. I've said that we'll ask his mom. So Reddit. I hope that this can bring a bit of joy to the Am I the Idiot community. It's not easy, we're adjusting, and we know that this will remain unconventional. However, the kids are happy, and we adults are too. P.S. To the Redditor who named me as the Intercontinental Super Uncle Warbucks, when this is all over, I'm getting that on a mug. Edit. Thank you all so much for the well wishes. I'm glad to have been able to share this lovely update with you all. Edit 2. A lot of you lovely folks have inquired about adoption. In the UK, there is no option to adopt someone you are not related to unless you are A. Apply for an adoption order, which would sever the link with the living parent, or B. Are the partner of their living parents. As can be seen, neither would work for our case. However, we figured out a system a long time ago, and it includes what to do if anything were to befall. The kid's safety is always ensured. I promise. Not the idiot. This is the best outcome possible. Those kids look at you as their father. Parents are the people that show up, not necessarily the people you are related to. Luckily, those awesome kiddos now have 3 humans that know how amazing they are, which is just so awesome I can't put it into words. Not the idiot. I went back to read the first part, then read this. You're just a wonderful person, Opus. Even NB, those twins are so lucky. This is a great way to resolve and nurture those kids. All the best wishes and lots of love from us Reddit strangers to you and your family.